Well, good afternoon or good evening if you're in the beautiful USA. And if you are overseas, it's either at nighttime or it's already wonderful Wednesday morning. I am known on LinkedIn here as the guy in the blue shirt. I don't know why. And my method is simpler, faster, better. And I'm actually, as Rob called me the last time he interviewed me, a process improvement whiz. So I'm everything process improvement. I'm going to throw it over to Rob House, who's in the state of Maryland. So thanks for being flexible on the start time here, Rob. Appreciate it.
Bruce, anytime, man. Thanks for having me. I love talking to people who like to think simpler, faster, and better all the time.
Yeah, all the time. All right. So tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, because obviously the other folks weren't on the lengthy discussion we had recently. So let's catch them up to speed, and we'll see who might come in the comments, and we'll go.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm just so interested in helping people do things better.
Right.
I've always been interested in that. And as you see, the tagline, ''𝐷𝐸ologist," as a □HeMologist, which □HeMologist gives birth to, comes from □HeMology, right? □Hemology is humans and technology and the integration of the two. So and we're all □Hemologists. The first time we put rocks together and made fire was technology. So, but how we utilize that technology as humans, that's what's important. So I'm helping people implement the right technology into their business to where they are no longer doing the robotic behaviors, the repetitive, mundane tasks and actions. Because nobody needs it. No one needs to do that. All right. We are an advanced civilization of human. Okay. We have these things called digital, the nasty, boring work for us.
So what would be a couple of good examples so that we, bring that to life a little bit more?
Yeah. So, invoice processing, payroll, sales orders, price comparisons, data extraction, every business has processes, and from end to end, there's humans involved in it. You can always bet that in that involvement, there's going to be some repetitive, repeated actions.
Right.
Somebody on the keyboard, something happened, application going here, something. And so anywhere that is, you want to automate that. And let me tell you why you want to do that. Not just because I said it, but what happens when you automate something, you no longer have to think about it.
Right.
And it's like our habits. We do 90% of the same thing every day. We don't even know we're doing it. It's just built in there. Only 10% of the things we do, we're conscious of. That's conscious and subconscious. Well, habits and automation are really much the same. And so habits and automation, they run continuous. And so when you're running automation, you no longer have to think about the thing you were doing, which means you then can analyze and improve. So when your energy is now reallocated towards more things of higher value. And so that's why it's imperative to stop doing whatever you can so you can do more of what you need.
Right. Absolutely. So, obviously that automation. So it's more around repetitive tasks, pretty much.
Repetitive.
Yeah.
Anything that you're going to do today and tomorrow and next week and the month after month, anything you can think of. That's where we are. That's just where we are.
So how might somebody? I mean, obviously you have some great examples of repetitive things that you've helped other companies do and other organizations. And I just want to say hi to Dimitri. Hey, Dimitri. Thanks for joining in the comments earlier. So
hey, Dimitri.
Yeah. Good. And I can't read the comments on my laptop because I'm actually away from my usual office. So I did catch his name. Anyway, so
Dimitri is actually on our team. He's wonderful, man. He speaks 75 languages, this guy. It's unbelievable.
He's super linguistic, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. Very good. Yeah. So, you've obviously talked at a high level about some common examples. And so what's the sort of investigation process? So if I think I've got a repetitive activity that might fit and align with the way that you approach it. Take us through the discovery process a little bit.
Is a 4D. D. You have your discovery, you have your design, development, and then deployment. And so discovery, and that all starts off with, so there's a questionnaire. In that questionnaire, those fields are very specific, which allows us to identify what that process is and where the automation needs to take place.
Okay.
And so we
like a form. Are you talking about a form then that's categorized under the 4Ds?
Exactly. Okay. Digital, real easy.
Right.
You fill it out, and by filling that out, that allows the team to be able to understand exactly what the process is, where the automation can take place, and then we can create a design. So the design shows you where the automation is taking place within the process you just described. And so, and all this is free because it's important. You educate before you automate. That's our phrase, right?
Right.
And so you get an understanding of what the automation is, where it's taking place, and also the ROI for year 1, 2, and 3. So now you got a cost analysis. You have a complete understanding. Well, not a complete, but you have a pretty good understanding, about how things can take place. And then we do it. So discovery, design, develop, and then deploy. And that's typically less than 30 days.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So when you talk ROI, just want to make sure we have lots of acronyms. Return on investment, right?
Thank you. Return on investment.
Yeah. And obviously return on investment comes in different forms. So it's the one that, leadership love is obviously the language of leadership is money and safety, right? So, but there are other forms of return on investment. So what would you say that was? What are the other things that
my goodness. Family Feud, the number one answer, bing, 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 time. Number one answer, time.
Yeah.
Like money is number 2. Great. We love it. But time, because time actually used the right way can generate more revenue, right?
Right.
And so time is what we're looking for. That is the greatest return, because when you can reallocate the time and energy of another human being, when a person can do that in a positive way, the return on investment, it's actually can't even be calculated. For example, we were able to, in a very short period of time, a law firm with just 3 people, one being the lawyer, and we were able to save them 40 manual hours a week.
Oh, really? Wow.
2 weeks to develop this, and then they were able to save 40. Someone was doing 40 hours, so now they've been able to scale up differently, shift their energy, and of course they're moving forward and they're finding more things to automate. But my point was, by doing that, it freed up time.
Right.
And that time gave them the ability and the freedom of mind and bandwidth to be able to see some other things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I always say, and you and I have this in common for sure, is that, time is the only non-recyclable component, right? Once it's used individually or by the teams or by the whole organization, you can never get it back. So once it's consumed, it's not coming back to you. It's not like, paper and plastics and other, recyclable resources. You can get some of it back, even if you don't get all of it back. But time you can never get back. Once the second is gone, it's gone, and make the best of it. So,
that's it.
Right. So Dimitri's adding some stuff here. Again, Dimitri, I apologize. I can't really see it too good on my laptop, but we will, if there's any questions from anyone, whether you're on live stream here with us, which is awesome, feel free to be comfortable. Even if you say hello and say where you're from, we're good. We like people to network in the comments as well. And yeah, if you have questions, rather than us try and answer them on the fly, which I'm terrible at, we'll come back and answer them later. So yeah. So so once they've done you've got the form completed, the 4Ds completed. What's the next steps? What happens after that?
So once let's go to the design. Once we have the design and look at it, prove, all right, perfect. Now we move into development, and that's where we're actually going to go ahead and develop and put it either cloud or put it on your server. Either way, it all works. The point is, we'll put it into your environment, and then let it run. Let the digital employees work, right? Right, and that's fast. And the return on investment, ROI, it's instant.
Right.
It's an instant, because the moment you put these things in place, that not only are you removing errors, but you're speeding up the process, the action. So, and that's it. So the biggest thing is just educating people on the importance of taking a look at this kind of technology, the importance of doing things simpler, faster, and better. Like it's a nice phrase, but it really is a phrase that pays.
Right. Well, it's funny you talk about design, and I find that mission critical because in fact, I was talking to some shared common connections. In fact, 𝐷𝐵𝐻𝒃𝒃 and I had a conversation about.
I saw that.
We had a conversation about, you always get what you design, and she was chit-chatting about some things that were frustrating her in some of her home life processes, and and we realized, well, Raquel, you set those up, you design them that way. So you always get what you design, right?
I like that.
So a lot of people don't they know something's wrong, but sometimes they don't really know what's wrong. They get a hunch that maybe the design is not optimal or the best it could be to do what you're trying to do. But what they don't fully understand is that it will keep giving you whatever you designed it to do. So if you've got a lot of waste or variation coming out of one process, then there's something in the design that makes it be wasteful with high variation. So I find that doing design and testing around design, and doing, so this is kind of where we meld. You've got the more AI, you've got the more digital part of it, but the design piece is common across AI, or as I call it, PI, which is process improvement. And what I find is that most people don't do enough very simple lessons learned, on how the design's going. Is it really doing what we thought it would do? Is it really maximizing the benefits that we thought it would do? And so I always encourage people to do short lessons learned, little and often. And if you do that, you can tweak the design, and
you really can.
So my site, the design comes part of the continuous improvement method, right?
Yep, that's it.
All right. So we got to design. What's your next D? What's the next big step?
So development, and that's when we hand it off to all those smart guys and gals, that know how to actually create the digital employee, which is really easy, but it's not easy as far as all that goes into it. But it's low code, no code type of software we're talking about. But these guys and gals are just tremendous in how fast they work, how great, how much insight they have in this particular industry with this technology. It's been fantastic. We lucked up. It's like, when you go to, if you have a sports team, you're hoping to get, the best players in the draft. And there's only a certain amount of players, in the draft that are at a certain level. We kind of lucked in, not lucked out, lucked in to getting really, really good draft picks, in a whole bunch of areas, in particularly development. And you want this type of expertise. And for example, we had a company that had a process that was worked on, and the process was it took them 6 months, this company, to do it, and it was about 70% accuracy. Right? Here comes Simply Automate, us, not really us, though, really my guys and gals. Here we come, and we did it in 2 weeks, 100% accuracy.
Wow, that's a pretty different outcome for. And it was the same process.
Same process. Excuse me, I was wrong. 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same process, but it wasn't 6 months, right? And it was 100% accuracy. That's really the key, because we're looking for accuracy. You know, it's great to have your process and streamlined and automated, great, but we want accuracy end to end, because this is how you're able to do the things you really want to do in business.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what do you think makes your development guys or your development team so special? What is it that? What is it?
Well, first they have a great leader. They have a great leader who really knows his stuff and knows how to train and teach and speak. So that's good. Leadership is a key component to everything, right? And then, of course, you know, having those core skills. So we have people who have core skills in certain areas, and they all work together like Voltron. And those who know who Voltron is, was a little cartoon that they came together. It was 5 entities, and they came to form one, right? Some may know Transor Z, right? But it's all about coming together. And so when you can do that, you have different skill sets as they did at high levels. Now we're able to take a look at a process and really move it forward, right? Everyone moving in sync. And you know what they say about a rising tide? You know, it lifts all the ships. That's kind of how the team's working. You know, again, we lucked in. You know, it wasn't things weren't all smooth sailing in the beginning. You know.
So how many ships are on that rising tide on your development team? How many you got?
I know we have at least 10 with the interns, right?
Yeah. Oh, you offer internships, so that's
internship, and then they move into the next premier, like the we call it rookie season. You know, after internship, you know, level 1, and then they move into level 2, and then by level 3 they're able to help 2 and 1. Right. So it's like a process, and again, this is each one reach one, teach one, we grow together. Birds of a feather, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's amazing. You touched upon. Well, we'll finish the D's, and then we'll come back to the importance of leadership, because you mentioned it or you know, alluded to it a couple of times. So what's your 4? We're on D number 4, right?
Yep. Deployment. All
right.
And that's making sure everything is running smooth in your environment. You know, we did a discovery. We have a design, and it's now been developed. So now we're shooting a shot. Okay. Right. We're taking a swing, but whatever sport we're gonna play. Right. And that's where all the magic happens. You know, and that's where, and from that point, now we start to process improve. You know, because once everything is automated, and you can take a look at it, and you can start to move things in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting you use deployment. I try and similar word. I try and use execution. So, you know, and I always, you know, when I'm working with team, and I believe you work with cross-functional or interdisciplinary teams, right? Yourself, right? In what you do. So we're similar in that way. I think the people aspects of how we're similarly deploying things or executing things. And I always try and get people to, you know, think about what would flawless execution look like for you? You know, what would flawless deployment look like for you? And that's a
good question.
Pretty simple question, but it begs a lot of, you know, moments sometimes.
Yes.
So they'll say, well, I wish it could be like this. And, you know, sometimes I'll say, well, why can't it be like this?
Why can't it be? Yeah.
Right?
That's great, Bruce. That's a good one.
Well, it's just where, you know, we're similar to, but uniquely different. And that's kind of why I wanted to continue our conversation, give you a chance to talk more about how you approach things, because, you know, you guys let me have a chance on your show earlier this year, and, you know, I got to say how I approach things. So
yeah, that's good. There's so many similarities. I love this AI and PI, friend or foes.
Oh, you like that? You can use it.
I love that. You know.
Yeah. So So what I find is that, you know, I don't know about you, but people way overcomplicate most businesses, and they're predominantly, you know, people driven, process supported, right?
Yep.
So, and people lose track of the fact that, you know, it's people design, people driven, people designed, you know, process supported. And if you lose sight of that, you don't always do the best for the people, and you definitely don't get the people to do the best for, you know, the best supporting process they can come
Right.
up with. So,
Right.
well, yeah, it's so process improvement, or, you know, maybe it should be just called people improvement rather
People
than process
improvement.
improvement. I don't know,
Yeah.
but they all kind of go together.
Yeah.
And then obviously AI really is more of a different methodology.
Yep.
Almost.
AI helps to improve the
Right.
process improvement. You
Yeah.
know, it really supports the process improvement, you know, done the right way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know, it's like any methods or any program, you know, they all work as long as you follow the steps and do them the right way. It's
Yep.
funny because a lot of people will say, well, that doesn't work. And it's like, well, did you follow the steps? Well, no, I didn't think I needed step number 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, step number 6 actually was pretty important.
Yeah. Pretty important step there. Yeah.
Right. So
it's like, do you want to miss a step as you're walking down the stairs? No.
no.
You don't.
Well,
you don't
unless you're a daredevil. I mean,
yeah. Right. Right.
or you're not in your full state of mind. I've done that not on purpose before. I'm sure we all have in our times, you know, taken too many steps when we should have taken baby steps, right?
Yes. Yes.
Taken 4 steps when we should have done only 2, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, the mantra of life experience there, right? All right, so we got the 4 Ds out of the way, and then so I'm assuming you have kind of a selection process after you've gone through the 4 Ds with a potential client. So tell me a little bit about how that selection process goes for, and also for the listeners.
Yeah, you know, and so really, we've had a variety. It used to be, you know, companies were $1 million or more, and then it was, you know, the companies who had 20 or more employees, and then it was, because we were like looking at different metrics, and then we found out, oh well, it's just, you know, companies or organizations that have a process that takes more than 20 hours a week. So, okay. Right. So we like drilled it down to, okay, so it doesn't have to be a big company. A lot of times a smaller company, you know, they have lots of processes. Right. And so it's very time consuming. And so that's really the key. What are you spending time on? Mm-hmm. You know, yeah. So that's how we can identify.
Yeah, and in my process improvement or process whiz world, you know, I always look for the number what I call handoffs. So handoffs are somewhat simple to explain, but can be somewhat complicated because sometimes people don't realize that you actually hand off work to yourself sometimes internally. So, you know, right. When you're kind of switching thinking or switching mode that you're in. So, and I find myself handing off more times than I should, even myself. So yeah, I always look for handoffs, particularly between multiple people in the process. So, because handoffs are usually a great opportunity to ask, well, you know, do we really need to do that? Or, and then the other one is turnbacks. So that's my other term, you know, look for your handoffs and then look for your turnbacks. And what I mean by turnbacks means different things to different people is, you know, it's when the work is actually being turned backwards or literally is going backwards. So if it's a physical product or an information product, if it's going backwards, in other words, backwards is not towards creating the value for the customer, then that's a turnback. And a lot of people don't realize that they do handoffs and turnbacks all the time, and then they end up recycling. So, you know, they go into this like, it's almost like this magic whiz machine, you know. You go whizzing around and, you know, and I tell people, yeah, you can churn, you're only going to make good butter, but, you know, so
that's it. It make butter, not cheese.
Right, absolutely. You can turn it. So yeah, I always look for the handoffs. I look for the turnbacks, and then I ask people's opinion about, how do you feel about churning away at this? I mean, does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Does it feel frustrating?
Right.
So I think that's where my skills are real interesting, because I start with seeking the opinion of the people and
Yep.
really tapping, I have this magic wand, I call it my process whiz magic wand, that I touch upon people. And it doesn't cure them or fix them of anything, but it just kind of taps into what they're really feeling
So
and
good.
what they're really thinking about their process. So,
Right.
because that's pretty mission critical to really
It sure is.
understand. Yeah, I call that the temper or the timbre of the process. It's because processes they kind of have a sound. It's almost like they talk to you. It's super interesting how processes have their own sound and vocabulary almost.
Yeah.
So. All right.
Well, what's going on, Russ?
Yeah, I was just about to say, hey, Russ just popped into the magic comments. Thank you, man. Russ and I have had some fun recently. We've got some amazing, mutually amazing connections who we've been collaborating with on
nice.
and offline. So it's been pretty fun to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was on Russ's show a little while ago.
Yeah, I was on with Dr. 𝐳𝒊𝒔𝐬𝒂𝐚 last week.
Okay.
Not this early week, literally last week, and then we're coming for a return session, because Russ was so vibed up by Dr. 𝐳𝒊𝒂𝐚 with all her physiology and her glitter practitioner stuff that you can talk with her for hours, and she's a never-ending source of wisdom and never-ending source of energy. She's an amazing lady. So
fun.
Yes, fun. You got it, Russ. Well, Russ starts super early in the morning, so thank you, Russ. I appreciate it. He's getting towards his dinner time and bedtime, I think. So yeah, absolutely, Russ. Absolutely, he's a good guy. So from the time it takes for somebody to fill out the 4D form to, I'm sure you do a discovery call of some form, both online, and do you go to people's facility? How do you prefer to do that, or it doesn't matter?
It's all virtual.
All virtual. Okay.
All virtual. I love the 21st century. Love it.
It saves doing what I had to do last night. I sat in an airport for 3 hours waiting for maintenance paperwork to be done, an inspection to be done, maintenance paperwork to be redone because the first guy messed it up, the re-inspection to be done a second time. And then by the time we got that far, the guy that was supposed to push us back from the gate had to go take his truck and push another aircraft from the gate. So we had to wait for him to go all the way on the other side of the airport and come all the way back. And then he hooked up. And then there was some final thing that the pilot said, oh, we got to get the contract maintenance guy to come back again. It's just unbelievable. Talk about how processes interrelate with each other. But this was negative process. This is how the negative processes don't get the aircraft off the ground. So we were, and of course, they don't give you real information. So I'm trying to decide, and it's last flight out of that, airport to come to Dallas, which is where I am now. So it's like, so I'm thinking, what are my good lessons learned here? So
good
lesson learned is make sure when you are leaving late, it's not actually the last flight out of that airport to the city you're going to.
That's a good one.
Because if they do cancel the flight, then at least you maybe got another chance. The other thing is, if there are inspection procedures to be done on the process, make sure people know how important they are.
Yes.
Not just walk away, because this guy walked away and didn't do the sign off and was 15 minutes on the other side of the airfield, and they had to go get a truck and bring him all the way back. So make sure you do your paperwork stuff. Check. Plan, do, check and adjust. That's my plan, do, check and make sure. And then, but the overall thing, and I could tell, and the pilot was getting super frustrated this time. You could tell he was super cool, first announcement, second announcement, and by the fourth announcement, you could tell he was really aggravated.
Yeah. The build up.
Well, and he even said, this is kind of getting embarrassing. And I said, yeah, it is kind of getting embarrassing because, the pilot ultimately is in charge of safety for
Right.
us and the aircraft. And hey, that's what they were trying to do. What should have been a no more than an hour and a half delay turned into a 3-hour, 20-minute delay. And I got into bed at 2 a.m. Fortunately, my hotel didn't give up my reservation. So,
oh, that's great.
Great reinforcer of how a process should be. But based on people, and the way that people interact with the process, how it can really, really get messed up. And waiting time. I don't know about you, but for me, waiting time is that number one. If there's one frustration that's going to get me each and every time, is waiting time.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So what type of industries does it matter? Tell us a little bit about the clientele.
Does not matter. I'll tell you the ones that are using it the most right now, accounting, manufacturing, because they have so many processes, but the financial departments of every company is using it, because everyone has billing, invoice processing. Invoice processing is a thing. And if you have employees, it's a big thing. And so there's multiple things that have to happen, and a lot of it is the same.
Absolutely.
So, get that out of there.
Repetitive, similar, might be similar to. Those are great things for people to listen to. So so if you're out there and you're hearing these things, then think of Rob, the AI man.
Yeah, the 𝐷𝐸ologist.
The 𝐷𝐸ologist.
𝐷𝐸ology. Remember that. Humans and technology. And we're all 𝐷𝐸ologists, people. Some are a little more advanced. Some have spent more of their time. I'm kind of like a freak for technology. So, I'm one of those freaks but it worked because I've been around long enough to really understand how to utilize it. Like, this is obviously great. This type of technology allowing us to talk across the world in real time. I mean, that's a big deal. Our ancestors are like, are you serious? Really? They're like, wow. They're like, wow.
It's funny. I was having a coffee conversation, just a very casual one the other day, literally. And they were asking me about, my live streams. And I said, I go to Global University twice a week. And they said, well, what does that mean? So I explained, I get to invite people from anywhere on the planet in any discipline, as long as they kind of fit what I know is a really good guest. So I have that criteria pretty well understood and characteristics understood. But they were blown away by the fact that, I can go anywhere on the planet and I can ask people, and they were just, you could tell they were kind of just like, they hadn't really thought of the power of live streaming and how we can tap into different cultures, different ways of learning, different ways of understanding. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And
it really is.
And 4 years ago, well, not even 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I was a pure analog guy. I was a pen, paper, set up appointments manually, 20 minutes average cycle time to set up an appointment instead of 3 clicks now, and
wow.
And
look at that assessment. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is, right? Say, well, how do you enjoy using technology? And again, some of the generations that are up and coming behind us, our future, they don't even know what some of those analog processes were. They don't even know what they look like. They don't even know what they were called. So I love, and that's why I love working with the high potential leaders, the ones that are up and coming, going to be our future, because I love it when you talk to them about a process and they'll say, like, what's that? Or like, because they assume that appointment making is always, integrated digital now, and they don't know it was done a different way, the hard way, long way,
Right.
Calendars, pens, and lots of phone calls, and, and lots of missed opportunities to connect,
Lots.
Yeah, lots and lots, right? Talk about all the waste in that, right? When I think about all the waste that I used to go through all the time, just setting
Mhm.
appointments. It was like, it's bizarre to me.
It's amazing. That's the beautiful thing about evolution.
Yeah.
And well, it's beautiful if you're going to evolve with it. If you don't evolve with it, then you're a blockbuster and Netflix scenario.
Yeah.
And that's happening all the time.
Right.
They're not the only blockbuster isn't the only ones that are sleeping on technology just to get drowned by it. And then you don't want that to happen. So if you get ahead of the game and get educated, so you can get automated, and you can be the Netflix that everyone watches. Your version of Netflix.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been super generous with your time again, man. I appreciate it, and it's I always learn something new from you, so thank you for that. It's for me.
Ditto.
LinkedIn's all about learn, prosper, and grow, right? And
prosper, and grow.
If we can learn, prosper, and grow all together, then what a great thing it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the best way for people to find out more about what you do and reach you?
Yeah. So, LinkedIn is this beautiful place. Click on that face, that pink face, pink shirt face.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. That other guy.
Yeah. Click on that. And I would love to connect, even, virtual coffee, chat. I get educated with people that I meet, then of course our website, simplyautomateinc.com. Go there. So when you go there, you're going to get educated. You're going to click on things you're going to learn instantly about, this is how automation is used in the accounting industry, in the manufacturing industry, in the legal industry, for property management. Oh, wow. This is how you can reduce costs, get a better customer experience, a better operational experience. Oh, it's all there. And so
say that address slowly again. I know you'll drop it in the comments, but
simplyautomateinc.com. Simplyautomateinc.com.
All right, good one. Yeah, so that's probably the best place to start, right?
Best place to start. And remember, humans no longer need to do robotic work.
Right. Yeah.
At one time, it was okay. Like in the beginning, in the 20th century, we were putting the candies on the belt. And we had a good day's work. 12 hours of that. We were happy, but we're not then. This is now. We've evolved. Just like our athletes and machinery. And so what I'm saying is that it's time for us to really evolve and understand what we have access to. You'll be amazed if you do a little digging.
Absolutely. Yeah, great way to summarize and put a little bow on that one, Rob. So, yeah, good. All right. Well, hey, you're the second person. I'm going to do a little outtake. Don't go away. I want you to see what you think of this.
You're frustrated that you have no time and you just hate it. You've lost your mind. You're running around the kids and the spouse, and the business that was once your passion has got you burnt out. So, consult with Bruce, the guy in the blue shirt. He'll help you find the truth so that you can do you first. See, it's all about simpler, faster, better, so you can save massive amounts of time and money instead of longing for the day where you can finally kick your feet up. Oh, do yourself a favor. Call up Bruce. He'll tell you about process cleanup.
What do you think?
Devin James made that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. That's remarkable.
and you know what? We did two short sessions. That was it.
Wow.
I just told him, here's all my stuff. I want you to capture the point at which somebody needs to make the decision to work with somebody like me or you or both of us. And he did an amazing job at capturing the emotions of, because those are the emotions I have. It's like, I'm sick and tired. I need to do something different. Just unbelievable. Isn't
I
he
love
amazing?
that, man. That thing speaks volumes.
It does, doesn't it? So gifted. So yeah, so big shout out to Devin and
Good job, Devin.
Hmm?
I was saying, good job, Devin.
Oh yeah. So I always give him. I wanted to show it. You're only the second live guest that's seen it at the end of a live, so
Okay.
saved it especially for this one for you.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use it all the time because people it kind of strikes a chord. No pun intended. Chord. Boom, you know, he's good with the chord. Anyway, so on a more serious note, if you think you need a process cleanup and you want to be simpler, faster, better, then I'm your process whiz, the guy in the blue shirt, right? Pretty simple. And I'm pretty easy to find.
Pretty easy.
LinkedIn all the way, or YouTube is my backup. And TikTok if you want to see the goofy stuff I do.
Oh, TikTok, huh?
Yeah, TikToking it up, yeah. For an old one. An old analog is starting to get more adventurous on
Man, you coming out, man. 3.5 years, got nothing on you.
I am. Yeah. Gotta watch out. Never know what I might end up doing next. No, all right. Well, it was a joy, Rob. Thanks for joining. And again, if you want to talk with Rob or I, you know, even if you want to talk to us together, if you see like a 1-2 punch for helping you do things simpler, faster, better, then we can figure that out, right, Rob?
Yes, sir. You got it.
Right. Okay, hang tight. Good night, everyone, or good morning if you're in